Good evening, first of all. I'm very, very much pleased to welcome you to the Turkish Embassy residence for another evening of spectacular jazz. Tonight, we celebrate the connection between culture and commerce. We are also honored to have with us U.S. Trade Representative, Ambassador from Europe, and many of his colleagues from the U.S. Trade Office. Ambassador Kirk, thank you for being here tonight as our guest of honor. Thank you, sir. Allow me to extend my sincere gratitude to the honorable members of the Congress. They haven't had a chance to arrive yet because they have their own voting procedure, unfortunately, but they will soon be here. Also among us, we have representatives from the diplomatic community, my colleagues, and I just see here my dear friend, the ambassador from Afghanistan. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Also, members of the business community and all those friends of trade. As many of you know well, a deeper understanding of each other's culture can help foster closer communication, stronger ties, and richer connections between people, communities, and countries. I am honored and grateful that you are all here tonight to experience some Turkish culture. And though you may wonder, there is indeed a very real link between Turkey and American jazz. We are here tonight as part of the Ertegun Jazz series. For those of you who are unfamiliar, the Ertegun brothers brought African Americans and whites together here under this roof in the 1930s to celebrate the smooth sounds of jazz. From that time, let's fast forward to the early 1970s. I recently had the opportunity to have lunch with Lonnie Bunch, the founding director of the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture, which will break ground on the mall next year. Dr. Bunch could not be here this evening, unfortunately, though some of his colleagues have come. I'd like to extend a warm welcome and thanks to them for being here with us. When I met with Dr. Bunch, he shared with me an amazing and very personal story. He recounted that he came to Washington to attend college in 1970, a time when racial tensions still existed in the city. As a freshman, he was told by others to avoid this part of the city for fear that he could face violence. But he was also told that if he did find himself in this area and encountered trouble, he should immediately seek refuge at the Turkish embassy, where he would be welcome. And I should also make note of another story, which is maybe known to most of you here, but to some, I don't think so. During the fierce and very ugly years of segregation, when this place, in 1940s exactly, when this place has become a center for jazz, of course, it started attracting a lot of attention from all sorts of walks of life, from different parts of the city. And one day, the Southern senator wrote a letter to our ambassador complaining about this place being a sort of a refuge for many African Americans. He said, "Mr. Ambassador, I've been passing by your embassy each and every morning, and I see so many black people wandering in the front of your front door. You know how they should be treated. So I couldn't believe it to my eyes. Is that what I saw true?" And our ambassador, Ertegun, one of my predecessors, he wrote graciously back, said, "Mr. Senator, yes, what we see is the exact truth. Because we have the tradition of hosting our friends through our front door. That's why you see the people who happen to be our friends, and we always welcome them through our front door. If you one time happen to come and be our guests, we'll make sure that we will host you through our back door." So I always take a great deal of pride from these stories. Pride in my country, and further underscoring the deep ties between African Americans and Turkish officials in Washington. From the 1930s to the 1970s and now today, that relationship still lives on. We are extending the legacy established by my predecessor, Ambassador Ertegun, and his son by uniting friends and allies to become more familiar with Turkey and its cultural richness. In that spirit, we are pleased to welcome the Strickland Quartet to be part of this great tradition. The Ertegun brothers were not only visionaries who defied artificial barriers and broke new grounds in music. They were also brilliant entrepreneurs. While celebrating the connection between music and commerce, we cannot overlook the fact that they founded one of the most lucrative companies in the United States, Atlantic Records. The lives and the works of Ertegun brothers bear testament to the fact that if you have a good idea and the courage to follow it, you have a pretty good chance at being successful in this land of opportunity and land of the big thing. I am extremely proud to say that Ertegun brothers were not alone in the Turkish-American community to make it to the top of their careers. Today, there are many Turkish-Americans who provide significant contributions to this country. The President and CEO of the Coca-Cola Company, which is another iconic and uniquely American brand, Mr. Muhtar Kent, who is also the son of a very courageous and brilliant Turkish diplomat, and he has the same qualities himself, by the way, is a source of inspiration for young Turks living in America. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us tonight due to a previous engagement, but I would like to welcome his representative, who had to leave, I believe, unfortunately, the other representative, Vice President Clyde Tuggle and Afsal Malik, but they are represented by another fine gentleman here, Mac Eccles. Thank you, Mac, for being with us tonight. And they were generous enough to sponsor the beverages for this event. One little actually, the grand uncle of Muhtar Kent was the first ambassador of Turkey to the United States, Ahmet Muhtar, and first resident of this residence. So they have a great connection to this place, actually, as a family. Before we start jamming, I would also like to recognize two very important groups. Tonight would not be possible without the unwavering support of our partners and friends, Jazz at Lincoln Center and the Boeing Company.